Thanks to the support as a channel member, Curtis Rothwell. Well, as promised, we have got through a load of games since yesterday's video, but we are returning to the action with a little bit of a blip going on. We have won the Carabao Cup, but we didn't really do very much in the January transfer window. I've managed to upset the players with a team meeting. Morale is low. We've lost a few matches. We're actually in danger of getting knocked out of the Champions League, and we might be bottling the league. So I think this is as good a time as any to jump back in. Hello and welcome to my FM23 beta save with Chelsea. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our Champions League second leg first knockout round, said that in the wrong order, game against Lyon, and then hopefully another Champions League game after that. But it really depends on how the game against Lyon goes. As you can see, in the first leg, we lost 1-0 away from home. So we do have a deficit to overturn, and that has been part of a larger issue where we are struggling just a smidgen. We've not won in the league for 4 matches. We drew against Spurs, we drew against Arsenal. The Lyon game was sandwiched in between them. It was at this point I did a team meeting that went wrong and kind of maybe lost the dressing room. We did get our reserves to beat Hull in the FA Cup, and there we are winning the Carabao Cup, albeit only against Brentford. But then coming back into the league, we've lost against Aston Villa. We've got a number of players who want to leave as well. In fact, the club dressing room atmosphere has been dragged back up to excellent, which is presumably as a result of the Carabao Cup win. It had gone down as far as average after the initial losing the dressing room incident. But we've got a few players who want to leave. Jorginho wants to go back to Brazil. Kai Havertz wants to join PSG. Kante wanted to go to PSG in January, but we've convinced him not to. So we've got key players who want out. We didn't do anything in the January transfer window because we did it all in the summer. And now the Premier League, with that little run of poor form that we're on, we now find ourselves, I mean, we're still 5 points clear of Liverpool, but Liverpool have a game in hand and are a worry. We just need to win today. If we win today, it gets an air of positivity back around the place and all is good. We really, really need that win. I know I'm rushing through this season so I can show you the new style Champions League before Non-League to Legend starts next week. I really did hope we'd do quite well in the old style Champions League one more time, though. So it's Mendy in goal, a back four of Chilwell, Akoli, Fofana and James, Kante and Camavinga in midfield, Sterling, Musiala and Hudson-Odoi, then behind Kai Havertz up front. Let's just throw football players at Lyon and hope that we can turn this rotten run of form around. I mean, cup competitions, we've generally been okay apart from the first leg against Lyon, so I'm hoping that was just a little bit of a blip. But if we get knocked out, I guess, if we get knocked out of the Champions League here, it's going to be really easy to then race through and show you the new style Champions League. We'll just do transfers tomorrow and get stuck into the new Champions League the season after. We're probably going to have to delay that a day or two if we go on and win this thing again, or at least get close to winning it. But that'd be a nice problem to have. Fofana playing it forward to Kante, and now Reece James charging forward on the right-hand side, plays it into the path of Hudson-Odoi, another one of the want-away players, and I think he's been fouled there in our first attack of the game, at least our first highlight of the game. Hudson-Odoi has been fouled. I think the referee is about to give the penalty. The Lyon goalkeeper is not very happy about it. He's having a proper go at the referee, but it's going to be Musiala to step up and level the tie early on in this second leg. Musiala from the penalty, and he scores. Lovely, lovely, lovely. What a way to celebrate as well. He's run off doing a very fancy dance. A 22nd goal of the season for Musiala. I mean, let's not hide behind the current iffy 4 or 5 matches. The season up until then has been fantastic, and Musiala has been a huge part of that. Definitely, as far as I'm concerned, my signing of the season, he has been another level compared to all these other players we brought in, and that was a transfer window where we signed Jude Bellingham, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We signed some proper football manager royalty, but Musiala is a level above all of them. He is absolutely phenomenal. I know it was only a penalty, but he's been very, very good. And hopefully he'll show you that again further on in this game. But 1-0 on the night does mean it's 1-1 on aggregate. We've now got the momentum hopefully flowing in our direction. And fingers crossed we can grab another goal before half-time, although it is Lyon. starting things off again with a throw that has eluded Ben Chilwell, and they've got him behind us here. Some very iffy defending from us. Hudson-Odoi nearly giving away a penalty after winning one for us earlier in the match, and Sterling trying to break clear. Kai Havertz turns, gets beyond his defender, but just toe pokes it straight into the hands of the Lyon goalkeeper, and really, you would hope that we would do a little bit better than that with a breakaway chance. I'm looking at my bench, seeing Tammy Abraham, seeing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and wondering, do we need to get one of them on to grab us some goals? Calvert-Lewin has been very good for his goal-scoring return all season long, but struggling to nail down a spot in the team because Havertz and Musiala are both pretty much undroppable. So to play the two of them together, it's hard to fit a striker in. But when Kai Havertz is in this kind of form, it does become a little bit easier in my head because that was absolutely rubbish. Right, we're going to give it 15 minutes at the start of this second half before we make a change. We've got to get through in the Champions League. We can't be getting knocked out to Lyon. That is a sorry state of affairs if that happens. Ikone getting in for Lyon, and luckily the shot is a wild one. Doesn't test Mendy. Goes behind for the goal kick. And I mean, we've been so much better than them in this match. We're going to offer some encouragement. It's one of those tricky situations where because we've absolutely dominated, it's hard to moan too much with the touchline shouts. And we are winning the game. So again, contextually, quite difficult to tell them they're not playing well enough. But only 1-0 up through a penalty really isn't good enough in the circumstances. Havertz has been absolutely rubbish. So I think it's a very easy change. We just bring Calvert-Lewin on for him. And we'll revisit in 10 minutes and give Calvert-Lewin half an hour to get out there and hopefully muster something up. We're demanding more now, which is always a risk when we're 1-0 up in the match. But we are drawing on aggregate, and hopefully the game's smart enough to recognise that it is okay to demand more in this situation. Fofana playing it forward to Kante, and now James. We have got Calvert-Lewin lurking in the middle. If we can find him with a cross, it's actually taken a deflection, looped up over the top onto the head of Raheem Sterling, who grabs our second goal of the night, his 11th of the season, and it, most importantly of all, puts us ahead in this first knockout round tie. A little bit of luck here. This is very much an FM23 goal. These little deflections off defenders that loop the ball off in all sorts of directions. The chaos modifier. And it certainly worked in our favour there. Camavinga needs to come off. We can bring Bellingham on for him. That's a nice substitution to be able to make. Cucurella coming on as well for the tiring Chilwell. And I think we probably leave it there for now because we might have to adjust this system depending on what happens next. If Lyon come and grab a goal, we might have to throw another attacker on. Akoli, that one has snuck in. I mean, I did not think that was goal bound. The corner comes in. Akoli's there at the near post. It's a perfectly placed header, and it's another situation of just looping over the goalkeeper a little bit. It's a very good header. Keeper had absolutely no chance. It couldn't have been more perfectly placed. And that is job done as far as I'm concerned. So we are going to make a tactical change, and it's going to be one that sacrifices Hudson-Odoi, I think. We'll stick Musiala out wide. Hudson-Odoi can come off for Jorginho, who's definitely become more a part of the team as the season has gone on. In fact, Musiala's tiring, so we can take him off as well. Bring on Mason Mount, and that is our 5 substitutions. The strength in depth we've got here now is absolutely ridiculous. But we could really do without Lyon grabbing a goal back before this tactical change goes through. Cucurella trying to play it forward to Calvert-Lewin, who doesn't get there. Musiala does get it through to Calvert-Lewin, though, and now it's Kante playing it over the top to Hudson-Odoi, who's about to come off. A last contribution for him is to slide it into the path of Calvert-Lewin, who has his easiest tap-in of the season so far to make it 4-0 on the night. This is a bit more like it, boys and girls. This is the kind of performance I expected in both legs, really. It's some good hold-up play from Calvert-Lewin in there as well. Just generally very good centre-forward play and a tidy finish to close things off as well. I think this is the situation where we can drop a little bit of praise. The players have played very well this evening. We are cruising through to the quarterfinal of the Champions League. We'll find out who we're going to play in that in a moment. And then I'll show you the second leg of that quarterfinal coming up in the second half of this episode. Let's make it a mystery match. Well, form continues to be wibbly-wobbly, and now we've got to play Barcelona for a spot in the Champions League semi-final, which is going to be interesting. We lost to Wolves in the league, which is kind of opening up the Premier League to worrying advances, but luckily Liverpool are wobbling even more than we are, so we're 6 points clear with 6 games to go. I'm kind of comfortable accepting that that's on the back burner. The more worrying result was against Barcelona when we only drew 1-1 at home in the first leg, meaning we have to go there in this second leg and get a result, or else our season is effectively over, even though we could pretty much win everything else. We're really only here for the Champions League. We have already won the Community Shield, the European Super Cup, the Carabao Cup. We're in the FA Cup semi-final and should win the Premier League. But I really want to win the Champions League again. I like the Champions League. It's super fun. This is the team that we're sending to Barcelona. We are going to be without Raheem Sterling, who got injured in our previous match and is now out for the next 4 to 5 months with a damaged Achilles tendon. So that's not really ideal. What's also not ideal is with the re-emergence of Jorginho, I am struggling to find a place in the team on a regular basis for Jude Bellingham, which he's not moaning about yet, but we do need to keep an eye on that situation. So we're going with Mendy in goal, a back four of Chilwell, Chalobah, Fofana and James. Jorginho at the base of midfield, Kante and Camavinga ahead of him, Musiala on the left, Mount on the right, and then Havertz up front. I realise we're effectively playing 3 attacking midfielders as our front 3. Despite spending all that money on strikers in the summer and having all these wingers at the club, just can't resist an attacking midfielder this year, apparently. Hopefully it doesn't backfire. I am a little bit afraid of Lewandowski up front for Barcelona, though. We just got to take it as a one-off game. Priority number 1, don't lose it. And then from there, try and win it. It's football basics. I understand the rules. Jorginho winning the ball back in midfield. He understands the rules as well. And now we just need to get the ball up the other end and do a football goal, please. Fofana playing it forward to Kante. This is a very calm, collected little open for us here. I'm comfortable with that as long as we don't give the ball away. Kante finds Mount, and now Mount with a lovely ball over the top to Havertz, who has just scored his 30th goal of the season in the previous match. He is scoring for fun again this year. I am reluctantly admitting now he probably is quite a good striker, and maybe we didn't need to get Calvert-Lewin and Tammy Abraham in the summer. Maybe one of them would have been fine, considering they both just sit on the bench every week. But he did miss again there. That's good work from Chalobah, though, to win the ball back. Now Havertz was trying to get in behind, between the defender and ter Stegen, but ter Stegen very, very alert to the situation, getting there ahead of Havertz. It remains 0-0, but Jorginho wins the ball back in midfield. Camavinga this time playing it over the top to Havertz, who does get there ahead of everybody else this time, but the goalkeeper once again is equal to it, makes a save, pushes it behind for the corner. Now it's Ben Chilwell to try and swing one in from this right-hand side, but ter Stegen, worryingly, looks like he might be having one of those days today. Sometimes you just come up against a goalkeeper who's not going to concede a goal. And I know we're only 14 minutes in, but ter Stegen already looking like that. And that was just a loose ball from Fofana. And luckily, Chilwell is there to sweep up after him. But Barcelona turn the ball over again in midfield. And now they are continuing to push forward at us. De Jong just pulling the strings at the base of their midfield. Now Dembele's dropped deep, giving it to De Jong again. Lewandowski coming deep now. But now we intercept the ball from Gavi. But Fofana once again giving it away. And Lewandowski has burst through. And luckily he missed. That was a little bit alarming for a moment there. There are only 56,000 people here. Barcelona's ground holds like double that, doesn't it? Why is nobody here? That seems a little alarming. I'm not sure why that would be. It can't be that we don't bring any away fans. Have Barcelona's fans just given up on them? Have they moved to a different ground? Have they closed half of the ground? I don't know what's got. Maybe they've sold half of their fans to pay for players they can't afford. That seems like quite a Barcelona thing to do. They are charging forward again here, though. Gavi has been absolutely everywhere, which is troublesome. And now my boy Timmy Castagna on the right-hand side gives it to Dembele, and that has hit the post when really Mendy should have had that covered. The ground looks full. Are we playing at the Nou Camp, or Camp Nou, or whatever we officially call it? I need to work out what's going on here. Barcelona facilities. What the hell is this? I understand what's going on. Is this a Football Manager thing? Oh no, hold on. They're moving to the 99,354 capacity Camp Nou in a year. So I guess there's a rebuild going on. And in the meantime, they're playing at this ground. Someone's going to have to explain this to me in the comments. They're playing at a stadium that has existed for like 100 years. But is not their ground, I guess. Let me know down in the comments section. I'm baffled by the situation. I'm sure one of you can explain it all to me. Maybe they sold the ground for a year and are now buying it back. Again, would be a very Barcelona thing to do. Right, we are still 0-0, third of the way through the match. Now we've got a free kick in a dangerous position. It's Kai Havertz lining up over the ball. It's ideally positioned for him to have a crack at it, and have a crack he does. And it titillates the netting on top of the goal, and it remains 0-0. And now Barcelona starting things up again with a throw deep in their own half, which hopefully means that this highlight is going to lead to us taking the ball off them and going and grab a goal. But they're building through this frustratingly good midfield again. The amount of money we spent on midfielders in the summer, only to see them dominate is troubling. But Kante has won the ball back off Gavi there, just as I'm saying their midfield's dominating us. And now there's Jorginho, and Mason Mount has fallen over the ball, and it's ended up crossing the line. I mean, he was the hero of the Champions League final last year. Is he going to be the man who keeps our run going this time around? I'm not quite, I've never seen this goal before in Football Manager. Havertz plays it back to James, who gives it to Jorginho, has the shot, and then Mount is fouled by Angelino, which makes him fall into the ball and bundle it over the line. Either way, we'll take it. I'm sure Mount celebrated it as if it was a screamer. It's 1-0 to us on the night, which is 2-1 to us on aggregate. And all of a sudden, we are in control of the tie, thanks to a huge slice of fortune. I would say, if the goal hadn't have gone in, I would be screaming for a penalty for the foul on Mount. So let's just chalk it up as one of those strange little animation things that Football Manager does to us from time to time. And hopefully our midfield can start taking control of this game a little bit. But Dembele has just won the ball back, charging in, and Fofana snatches it clear. And once again, it's back with this very patient Barcelona midfield build. And there's probably an argument for bringing Jude Bellingham on for a little bit more energy. We've got Jorginho and Kante in there, the two old men, who were obviously both involved in the goal, but maybe we need that extra bit of energy from Bellingham to take control of the midfield properly. But talking of midfield, there'll be people questioning why Camavinga's starting ahead of Bellingham. There we have some evidence for you, boys and girls. That's why Camavinga's starting ahead of Bellingham, and that is 2-0 to us on the night. It's a wonderful goal that Camavinga starts in midfield, plays it forward to Havertz. Havertz playing it out to Musiala. Camavinga all the while continuing his run, gets there ahead of ter Stegen, makes it 2-0 to us. And all of a sudden, that midfield dominance we were talking about has been turned on its head. And now Kante's bursting out of the midfield, and he gives it to Mason Mount, who slots it into Havertz, and ter Stegen having to save on the stretch with his feet before we could have hit them on a counter-attack again. We have come out for this second half absolutely rampant. Mount now to take the corner, looking for the far post, which is a strange place to aim as there was nobody stood there. And now Jorginho out to Mount, who tries to slide it across goal, but Frankie de Jong for Barcelona is well aware of what we're up to there. He knew my antics and was there to step in. Those midfield ratings for Barcelona, much lower than I would have expected, based on what I was seeing in that first half when Gavi and Pedri just seemed to have all of the ball. But clearly, no end product. Didn't do anything with it. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling him out with 25 minutes to go because we're going to win now and nothing bad can possibly happen. It'll be absolutely fine. It is with Pedri again in midfield, and now back to it's Eric Garcia, isn't it? The former Manchester City chap. See, I know who's who. And there's Timmy again to Pedri, who slots it in beautifully for Dembele, who has got in behind, I think, Chalobah, who weirdly jumped up in the air as the shot came in. We're having some weird animation things go on today. But before this corner is taken, I think we are going to make some of these changes we talked about before. Bellingham is going to come on, and we're going to swap those two around. He's going to go like that. We are going to take off Havertz as well and bring on Calvert-Lewin. Chilwell can come off for Cucurella, and we will bring Pavard on for James, just getting energy on in key areas. We're going to save that final change just in case we need them. We don't want to be down to 10 men against Barcelona. That feels like something that probably wouldn't end well for us, but just to freshen up the midfield, the attack, and the 2 fullback positions, and Kante doing very, very well to come back and cover. I was worried about an old man in there. He is playing as a true box-to-box midfielder today. It's an excellent performance from Kante. And now Reece James, with his final contribution, gives it to Kai Havertz for his final contribution. It's 3-0, and this does feel a little bit against the run of play, at least based on how things were in the first half. Things were very, very tight. If anything, it looked like Barcelona were the more likely to edge it, but contrary to what I was saying in the Champions League last year, it seems that what's happened here is we took that lead through a little bit of good fortune. Barcelona have started to commit a few more men forward. It's creating these counter-attacking opportunities for us, and we've hit them a couple of times on the break. And maybe we are getting a little bit more responsiveness from the AI than we saw when we faced Atletico Madrid last year in the Champions League, because Barcelona pushing on, trying to get back into the game, have left so many gaps for us to exploit. And we've had a lovely time exploiting them. Wesley Fofana is having a terrible game. Okoli can come on for him as our final change. And now we just need to offer a bit more praise, because we have played very well, and wait our opposition for the semi-finals, which will be coming up in tomorrow's video. Let's just confirm who it is we're going to be playing. So there's your confirmation. I think we might have to go forward a day. Know who we're playing, so we've got to see the second. So it's going to be either Bayern Munich or Rennes. So probably Bayern Munich then, I would guess. Let me just, how far ahead? Yeah, okay, so we're playing Bayern Munich in the semi-final, and that'll be tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.